Aaron, I don't think I can do a podcast. I don't think I can do a podcast, Aaron.
Why not?
There's fucking Dragon Age, Far Cry 4.
Yeah.
I swear to God, man, this season, it's like goddamn Sophie's Choice, right? Last Tuesday, I went and, I mean, Grand Theft Auto 5 is just sitting there.
Yep.
It's not even doing anything.
Collecting dust, and it just came out.
Yeah. Little Big Planet 3 isn't even out of the shrink wrap yet. It's just like, So, but, you know, we can do, okay, let's do a podcast. Let's do a podcast.
It's a troubling time we've been faced with.
90 minutes. Yeah. These are really the most first world of first world problems.
Seriously.
Like, oh man, my video game website takes so long. I can't play all the video games.
First world gaming problems.
I don't have enough time to play the re-release of a game I already played last year.
Man.
Oh, dude, seriously. Well, welcome everybody to the Rage Select podcast. I am Jeff.
I'm Aaron.
And let's see, we've got kind of a weird mixed bag this week, full of news. But before we start, Aaron, what have you been up to? We don't have you on the podcast very often, so I don't know what's going on in Aaron's world these days.
Aaron's world.
That's right.
Party time. Not really. I
wasn't sure whether you were going to go with Wayne or Bobby's World or like what.
What was Bobby's World theme song?
I don't remember. It was Howie Mandel talking in the little Bobby voice for. Oh God! No, stop!
That's all I remember. I was like, that little kid has issues and his head's too big. But no, I've been doing my acting thing. I'm actually opening up a show November 21st today.
Okay.
Or whatever. I don't know.
Today?
November 21st?
Yes.
Yes, today.
Today's your first day?
The first official audience.
Holy shit.
Champagne opening and everything.
I don't know. I didn't realize that you were doing the podcast at the same day.
Oh, this is relaxing to me.
Okay.
But yeah, and so it's really cool. Sherlock Holmes in the Case of the Jersey Lily.
Okay. How much can you talk about it?
Yeah. Okay. There's really no spoilers in theater.
Right.
So
I just know it's
like Shakespeare. They all die.
Oh, okay. All right. So there you go.
but not this. It's not Shakespeare. I can't remember who the writer was, but I've been fortunate enough to be cast in the role of Moriarty. So
what?
Yeah, it's pretty baller.
Okay, so let me ask you: you're playing Moriarty on stage. Have you found it bleeding over into your personal life? Do I need to watch out for some falling knives, or you're going to get me in a pool with a sniper?
No,
you haven't exactly gone the full BBC Moriarty.
I have not.
What was that guy doing? The guy that played. He's I look at the way that he's playing Moriarty. I'm just like, you're.
He's weird.
He makes the Joker look normal.
Yeah. And so what's funny is the first day of rehearsal, when we were walking around, I came in with that character, pretending that, and the director was just like, "No, we're not gonna go that way. That's a good choice to go, but we're not gonna go that way.
We're gonna go with the Robert Downey Jr.
Well, that guy was just really. I don't like that guy because he was just really old to me in a way, and so which made sense because he's supposed to be a professor and stuff like that, but. The Moriarty that I'm portraying, he's very calm and calculative.
Okay.
And when you piss him off, that's when your life gets threatened.
Okay.
And the only way you piss him off is by not doing what he's told you to do. So the two I guess henchmen I have in the show they don't get anything done, and what's funny is one's a male, one's a female, and there's a pretty awesome point in the show where the female, she's just yapping and saying all the wrong things to me, and then she starts yapping to the other henchman, and she's walking in front of me, and I just grab her by the throat and just I grab her by the throat, but then I threaten both of them at the same time.
Wow.
And so that's actually one of my favorite parts of the show. I was just like, this guy, you don't play with this guy.
Right.
So, but it's a really good show. It runs from November 21st till December 21st, Thursday through Sunday. So it's going to be a very long process.
Now, Aaron, I know you have a fairly, you have an extensive martial arts background. Does Moriarty jump kick some fool in the face? No. I want to see Moriarty crane kick Sherlock Holmes directly in the face.
I will say this without any spoilers, there is a sword fight.
Okay. I'm just like, you're
and it's a pretty damn good sword
You're
fight.
in theater. I don't know the guy. I mean, I don't know who the guy is that's playing Sherlock Holmes in your thing, but do you ever are you ever just up there on stage and you're like, we could just turn this into a fight.
Yeah.
I mean, like a real.
Well, I
like
always
the Matrix. You just have a secret hand signal.
Whenever there is a fight, especially in like live theater that I'm a part of, in my brain, I always have a contingency plan if like a weapon breaks or if a weapon's not there or anything. And so I did.
Or if the other guy is using a real weapon and trying to actually kill you,
well,
just in case.
Then that's gonna be bad for him. But I did Macbeth about a year and a half, coming up 2 years ago, and I got kneed in the head.
What?
Yeah, it was actually pretty awesome, and it was a complete accident, but. Because I am a martial artist, because I have done full contact stuff before, I can take it.
Right.
Everybody else wouldn't be able to because they're theater actors, and I'm not saying like theater actors are soft. It's just that there are some very soft theater actors, and so I'm thinking if I was to knee somebody in the head, they'd be unconscious. And so this guy put his full knee into the side of my head, and my reaction in the show is supposed to fall down and just be like, I'm phased.
Right.
So I went with it, and I'm on the ground. I have my hand up against my head like the reaction's supposed to do. And he decides to stay in character but, like, bend down and, like, act like he's threatening me.
Yeah.
And, like, turn his back to the audience. And he's like, are you okay? And I'm like, keep going. And so at the end of the show, I was just like, yeah, that's never going to happen again. He's like, dude, I need you in the head. I'm like, yeah, I'm okay. But if that happens again after the show, I'm going to punch you in the face.
I like the idea. Well, what character were you playing in Macbeth?
I was playing Macbeth.
Okay.
So I died at the end, but at the same time, in that moment, I was just like, I could turn this fight around so quick right now.
I love this mental image of you getting kneed in the head and then having just full Hulk Hogan back on. This guy just like, oh, you pissed off the wrong. You pissed off
Burnham Wood don't mean shit, bitch.
Right. I also was thinking that, you get kneed in the head and then everybody is really dramatic. The director's like, okay, well, we're going to need to knee you in the head every time.
Like, if you can take it, that actually was amazing. I'd be like, no, not going to happen.
Okay, but, well, this is
then playing a lot of video games.
Okay,
when I get a chance.
This is going up on Sunday, so I'm sure everybody listening will be wishing you good luck in the comments.
Yep.
But allow me to wish you good luck. Break a leg. Break a leg.
Thank you. And I always say, not mine.
Yeah.
Little
don't get kneed in the head. That's the new thing they say.
There should be no knees flying towards my head in this one.
Well, we're in the middle. We're smack dab in the middle of the full on Gamepocalypse. What are you playing right now?
I have a bunch of boxes sitting in front of me in front of my TV at my house. I have Assassin's Creed Unity.
Yeah.
I still have Destiny.
Yeah.
I just picked up WWE 2K15.
Oh God, I haven't even bought that yet.
Yeah. Yep. Far Cry 4, which I just took the shrink wrap off of. Haven't even installed it. I'm getting around to that probably next week when I actually have some more time.
I mean, you might want to give it 4 to 6 weeks for Ubisoft to patch in the real functionality. But
for real,
fuck you, Assassin's Creed Unity. God damn. Fucker.
But then I went back and because I like finishing games, but because all these games come out, I'm like, I'm just gonna jump in.
Yeah.
I'm finishing up Black Flag, Assassin's Creed Black, and I'll say it and I'll keep saying it. I hate pirates in real life. I hate pirates, but this game, I love it. I don't know what it is. I'm just like, I'm just like bobbing my head to these little shanties that they're singing, and I'm just like, all right, fire the cannons.
Oh, you know what? It's interesting. Last year, because I had a problem where, because they released Black Flag, and when it came out, it was only PS3 and 360. Yeah. And I liked it. I really did. I didn't love it.
Right.
I think part of that is because I still had a real hard time with the fact that the main character starts the game and leaves his wife to go fucking have fun and drink grog, right?
He's like, I'm going to come back, baby. No, you're not.
And I had a kind of a hard time divorcing myself from that one action to the point where I was just like, yeah, but your wife. On the other hand, then when the PS4 came out, they had that whole thing where you could just like put your disc in and then you would get the $10 and you get the PS4 version. So then I loaded up the PS4 version and I was just like, oh, this is so pretty. This is so beautiful. And in fact, I usually don't like to step on the toes of reviews that we're going to do, but I think it's with this shit, it's probably going to be January before I can finish Rogue. But I really wish that instead of putting out Unity, they would have just done what they did with Black Flag with Rogue, because I played the first hour of Rogue. I love the characters. I love the shit. How do you take away a pirate ship, huh?
I'm so upset with what Ubisoft did in the fact that they're like, okay, we're going to release this one game for the next gen,
right?
But we still love our old gen, so we're going to release this game for it only. And I'm like, no, because with Black Flag, you released it, but then you were like, we're porting it over.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't you just make Rogue your next? I'm like, that. You guys are pissing me off because I automatically knew Rogue was going to, and this sucks for that I'm saying this, that Rogue was going to be better than Unity.
Well, I think that it's just the trailers that I saw for Unity were very much, they were like glamour trailers for the environment, for the engine and everything that they were using. Like, I didn't really know shit about Arno until I went to go play the game.
Well, I read an article about it, and it was just said, unfortunately, spoilers, it's Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah.
That's all it is. It's Romeo and Juliet.
And meanwhile, they had that first trailer with Shay walking there, and
it's like,
I mean, we talked about it, Jason and I, on the podcast when it happened, where I was just like, dude, I want to play that game way more.
Well, I saw a playthrough of a video, and they're like, okay, and this is your ship, and then Black Flag was in the Caribbean. Well, this is like in North Atlantic, and so you have to outfit your ship with like ice breaking stuff, and I'm like, you're rolling through some ice. What?
Yeah.
What?
I mean, I played just a little bit of it, and I could say that there was even a mechanic. You know what? Okay, you know what it is. In my mind, Assassin's Creed Rogue is the Assassin's Creed Brotherhood of 3.
Okay.
That when they called Assassin's Creed 4, it wasn't really 4. It was 3 Brotherhood.
Yeah.
And then Rogue seems like it's 3 Revelations. Like the same way that they're just... And so I loved Brotherhood and Revelations because I felt like they did their great first pass with 2, right? And then they just kept... They've listened to what people liked and what they don't like, and they started putting more. And then people were like, more boat, and they were like, okay, more boat. Here, the whole game is fucking boat. There you go. But then in Rogue, at the very beginning, the first time you get access to the ship, and it's like, oh, here's some enemy ships. Oh, look, there's an iceberg. Shoot it with your cannons, and this giant wave comes off of it and fucks everybody up. And I was like, oh yes, rad, awesome. So anyway, I want the entire first part of this to just be shitting all over the Assassin's Creed franchise, but
I will say I still love playing. I'm a huge fan of the Assassin's Creed franchise, and I still love playing Unity. I wish there were more people in my friend circle that I could play with, but at the same time, it's one of those things that I got to a point where I could stop playing it for a while. It's like I'm comfortable with where I'm at in the gameplay and in the story, that I can just be like, okay, what other games can I put my time into now? And so, and it sucks because like when I played Destiny, I didn't put it down.
Yeah.
I was that guy. I was just like, I don't care about multiplayer. I don't care about all these different little bounties you can do. I want this story. To me, the story, and I'm weird because a lot of people didn't like the story of Destiny, but I was all about the Destiny story, and I was just like, this is amazing. This is the reason why I play first-person shooter games, is for the story. I can give a shit about, hey, we're going to hop on multiplayer, play 6. I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care. Multiplayer it's a big circle. I'm tired of going in a circle. I'm gonna play this story. This is baller. And like I was that guy who's just like, dude, guys, the story shit just hit the fan. Did y'all see it? I haven't played the story. Oh my god! It's like, oh, I only played it up until I could like play the multiplayer. I'm like, get out of here, get out of here. And so, but it's one of those things that I could see what they were doing with Unity.
Yeah.
But in the end, it is a broken game, and it's sad.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna stop because I'm going to I got to save some for the review, right?
Yeah,
and we are
hopefully
next Tuesday. I'm going back and I'm trying to get some more reviews under my belt, so I'm going to try to get back in the habit of doing that. And actually, like when I say that, we recorded 4 reviews this week, so there's going to be some shit coming up.
They are on their way,
right? But you know what? I was just thinking of, like, if you were to have purchased a PlayStation 4 and Xbox One this year, you could probably, over the course of the 6 weeks, kind of maybe next week and then go back like 4 weeks from this week. If you just bought everything that came out, you probably keep yourself busy for about 6 to 8 months of next year.
Yeah, you'd be pretty set. Merry Christmas.
Which is crazy. Which is absolutely insane.
It's weird. I actually showed my girlfriend the stack of games that because I go to GameStop and I'm just like, let me see your calendar.
Yeah.
Let me think of the games that I heard of that have stuck in my head that are something that I would actually want to sit down and play.
Mm-hmm.
I've gotten the Sleeping Dogs Definitive Edition, Lords of the Fallen, Destiny, Assassin's Creed, WWE, all of these games, and I was just like, oh, Shadows of Mordor, going all the way back there. I'm just like, I have all of these games. I'm just like, these are all like the big titles that have come out, and like I know Sleeping Dogs wasn't a big title, but I just bought it because
I thought it was a big title. I mean,
I just love that. I love
people.
That game so much.
It's one of those games that I think like I think that now people may not regard it as much a big title, but like before it came out,
it was amazing.
I mean, people had Watch Dogs fever, man. They were just like, I can't wait for it. It's going to be the best game ever. It's going to be the greatest game to ever come out of all time. But I understand what you're saying. I mean, there's
so many.
The reason that I don't sleep anymore, right, is because I'm afraid that if I ever get behind by one game, it's just going to be like, I can't get back. I mean, there's even been a bunch of shit on the PC that I've wanted to play, but fuck you. I mean, like, Civilization After Earth came out, and I looked at it and was just like, ha ha, ha 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 ha, infinitely replayable 40-hour-long single-player campaign. Ha 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 ha. Yeah, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, like the two big ones I've skipped is GTA 5 and Dragon Age Inquisition. GTA 5 is just because I'm not ready.
Did you play it on the previous gen?
Did. Okay. I did. I bought it the same time because GTA 5 and Last of Us were the two big ones that came out towards the end of the season of PlayStation 3. Those were the two very big games.
About when those came out, let's see.
And because I was like, well, why didn't they just release these for the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One? But, the companies knew that they were dealing with gold and crack cocaine that us gamers love to shoot in our veins so
Let's
much.
See. Last of Us was June of last year, and GTA was September of last year.
Yeah, so by the time you finish Last of Us, you're going to play.
Sure.
You're going to play GTA 5. And now look, they're two of the biggest selling games on the next gen.
I have to keep reminding myself where I'm just like, when you talk to me like this, what I'm just like, what do you mean? What do you mean between July and September to beat The Last of Us? No, you just sit down and put on an adult diaper and snort some meth and beat The Last of Us. Come on, right?
Go at it. Get all the feels,
dude. GTA was bad. I mean, like I just was solid on
but
GTA.
It's like that with every GTA game.
Yeah,
every GTA, they know what they're doing, and this one they're like, hey, we're gonna give you 3 characters this time whose stories intertwine, and then we're gonna make the city ridiculously huge.
Yep.
Have
Yep.
fun.
I can't.
Oh, by the way, you can do yoga. What?
And why would I want to do that?
And play
again?
tennis.
That was That was one of the only things
And
back
fly a blimp.
when we reviewed it. That was like, there's a fully functional golf and tennis game in here.
Yes.
I don't have any interest in playing a golf or tennis. I mean, like this is as good as like a mediocre other full release game. I don't have any interest in playing golf. I mean, yeah, I'm sure somebody does, but it's not me. And
Right.
what demographic are they going for? There is the dude. I want to jack a car and then play 12 holes.
Yeah.
Whatever. Well, you know what? We got some news to get to, and I don't want to keep you from. I don't want you to be running out on stage like, "Sorry, everybody, I was recording a video game podcast."
Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen. I was recording for Rage Select.
All right, so I've got. Let's see. Boom. We've got a few stories, and then we've got one of those situations where I've got a bunch of bad news and I got a bunch of good news.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give you guys the bad news first, so
Let's
we can finish
go.
on a high before we go to questions. All right, but before we start the good news, bad news part, why do they call it? Why did people always phrase it like that? Why do they always put good news first when they say? Whenever anybody says I've got good news and I've got bad news, they never say I've got bad news and I've got good news.
Right.
You just you hear that and you go, no, that's wrong. Even though everybody,
Your emphasis
okay.
is...
Do you know anybody that wants to hear the good news first?
I know some people that want to hear the good news first, but then it's usually a trick where the bad news really isn't that bad.
Right.
And
Okay.
So, but I'm the one that phrases it as like, okay, check it out. This is what's going on. But like,
Right.
I don't even say I got good news and I got bad news. What do you
Right.
want? I'm like, okay, here's the shit, but here's some potpourri.
Right.
Maybe some Febreze to
Some
cover up.
some poopery?
Some poopery. That's real.
I know.
That's real, people. Look
I
it
know.
up.
Oh,
It's a horrible commercial.
Not even going into poopery. That's just too fucked up. All right. Well, last week it's like Grant and I recorded the podcast on Tuesday, right? Last week, and the podcast doesn't come out until Sunday, so we missed a few things last week. But the biggest thing that we missed that you and I actually addressed, Just Cause 3 got announced.
Yes.
Avalanche is they've been teasing it for a while, and they finally announced that they're making Just Cause 3. And I think this is great because, honestly, don't tell anybody, and you keep this just between the two of us, right? I haven't beaten any of the Just Cause games. Like they were one of those cult hit games that kind of came out around other things.
Well, you're still one up on me because, like I said, I've never played one. So.
Right. Right.
Like, so this Just Cause 3 is gonna. I love how it's like Just Cause 3 is gonna be the first one I actually like officially play.
Right. So let's see. It's going to be out in next week or next week.
No,
it's about next week.
No,
it's coming out next week.
No, it cannot.
Breaking news, everybody!
No.
Just Cause 3. It's out. No, it's out next year for the PC, PS4, Xbox One. It's going to take place in a Mediterranean archipelago, and I'm bringing up Avalanche here because I'm still kind of. When the fuck is Mad Max coming out? I mean, I don't want to.
When do they say?
It just says 2015. That's all I got right now.
I guarantee you, Just Cause 3 is going to come out before it.
That's just.
I get. You know what I think they're going to do?
What's that?
They're going to try to probably release it around the same time that the movie comes out.
Oh,
even though there is no movie, I don't know if they're trying to do a movie tie-in, but that's where my entertainment brain comes in because they're probably going to try to capitalize on it as much as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Because it'll either be released before the movie, like a week before the movie,
right?
Or I'm going to say
which is
after
May 15th, 2015.
There it
Mad
is.
Max Fury Road.
There it is. Look for it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Keep your watch out, people.
Anyway, I think that the funniest thing that came out of this, right, is that they announced this, and there were some screenshots that were flying around, and the screenshots had some microtransactions on them, and that then Avalanche came out and they were like, whoa, no, there's no microtransactions. That was an early build. Microtransactions are stupid. Nobody likes microtransactions.
We weren't gonna do that.
Who do you think we are? Which I think that there's probably, if this announcement and those screenshots had come out in other parts of the year, they probably could have just glossed over that shit. Nobody would have really cared. But once again, Assassin's Creed Unity kind of messing it up. But Yeah, the quote from, let's see, their co-founder and CCO, those leaked screenshots were taken from an ancient version of Just Cause 3. Like most games, this one went through an exploratory phase where we looked at different control schemes, different technologies, different business models. Leaked screenshots show aspects of the process and in no way reflect the game we are making today. Just to be perfectly clear, Just Cause 3 will be available, blah, 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 blah. It will be distributed as a retail box and a digital download. It is not a free-to-play game. It does not feature in-game microtransactions. So... there you go, folks. No need to worry. Aaron.
I say, just wait. You see what I did with that?
Does anybody like microtransactions?
I don't think so.
Anybody?
The only person I think that could impossibly like microtransactions are the people who have too much money and not know what to do with it.
I don't even think developers are probably all that interested in microtransactions. I wouldn't want to make that and put that in my game if I was a developer.
Like, what do they do? They're like, hey, it's one of those things where you'd have to be like a fly on the wall during that conversation or during that testing.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, we're not going to let this be available unless they give us real money. Like they've already, I'm like, with tax, it's like what, 64.08 or something like that. Whatever the tax is. I'm not paying you any more money except if the season pass or expansion pack is something amazing. Like when I went to go buy Far Cry 4, the guy was like, "Do you want the season pass?" And I was just like, is this something I really like? I'm gonna look for.
It depends. You don't even know what it is, right?
Like, he was telling me there's like a couple more multiplayer mission maps. I'm like, I'm not gonna play Far Cry mission multiplayer. And I go, the only thing that I've seen that like I went, was the Valley of the Yeti, and I was just like, that's not enough to warrant me to drop $30 more or however many more dollars for this game, and I'm definitely not going to put more money into the game as I continue to play it.
Well, I guess the weird thing is that I feel like, but when you talk about this, after sale purchase type of stuff, right?
Yes.
Season Pass, I think it has its own set of problems.
Yes.
I mean, like if you're a Call of Duty person, you can be like, I'm going to buy all these.
I need it.
Give me your Battlefield. You're in the Battlefield, whatever.
Need the premium packs.
Or like when Bioshock Infinite did it, and it was like, I know there's going to be 3 pieces. These 2 are going to be story, and this one's a challenge map. And the first challenge map is $10, and it's like it's $10 per, or it's $20 for all 3 of them. No brainer, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to want to play these anyway, so there you go. On the other hand, microtransactions, I mean, just being like, hey, give us $5 for this limited time boost, or you want to unlock this thing that you can unlock with... fuck off. Blah. Blah. And
Just cause you get an extra grappling hook.
Okay, I would legitimately pay an extra $5 for 2 grappling hooks instead of 1.
There it is.
All right. Next up is an interesting, really interesting story, actually. So, you're a PlayStation 4 guy, Aaron,
correct?
Obviously, but I've been, you kind of keep one eye on this stuff. In October, Sony said that they've shipped 13.5 million PS4s,
correct.
And then here we're in the late November, and there was just a report from Microsoft where they said that they have now shipped 10 million Xbox Ones. So the gap is closing a little bit between those, and I'd be willing to bet that a lot of it has to do, I mean, maybe we'll see after Black Friday stuff, because I know that Xbox One is down to $350 for the core model.
$349.99,
whatever. Fuck off. But then the PlayStation also has, they've got, it's $400 with 2 games, right?
Yeah.
And you get to pick the variety of different games.
The one I saw was GTA 5 and Destiny.
That's a pretty good pack for $400.
Ridiculous.
I'm
just saying.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah. So
I haven't sent that email to like 5 friends.
Well, it's interesting. I'm really interested to know after the fucking feeding frenzy of Black Friday is done, after all the holiday shopping is done, when we get to like the end of December, the first of next year, what's the numbers look like? Because I'll be honest with you, I want those two numbers to be as close as humanly possible.
Yeah,
because it's great for everybody.
Yeah.
Like,
one stat that I did see is that Xbox One for the past, I think, 3 weeks has been the number one selling console in the UK.
Oh yeah. I think I saw that as well.
I was just like,
no, dude,
that's me clapping my hands, people.
When I look at the sales numbers, I want it to be like, I want Sony to be like, we sold 0.25 million more units this quarter, because I want those two fighting to the death for my money. I want them to be stabbing. I want the CEOs knife fighting in the fucking parking lot.
I think that who was the Jack Tritton? He's the guy who was with Sony, and
he retired.
He retired, yeah, because he knew this was coming.
Oh,
he was like, I don't want to have a death.
Oh
match.
no, well he did. I think when he retired, he said like, I did like all of the PlayStation 3, and I think he was maybe involved with PlayStation 2. And he's like, so we got the PS4 rolling, and now I'm out. I'm not going to do this again.
I'm done. I'm done, people.
But yeah, I can't wait. The only thing that would make this better,
if the Wii U was actually a real system.
Wii U 2.
Yeah, come at me. I rock the boat. Let's go.
I mean,
y'all got Bayonetta 2.
A little. I'll tell you what.
I'm upset.
Bayonetta 2 is a pretty good reason to have a Wii U. But if I really hope next year at E3 that Nintendo, because I mean the thing is that it's still early enough in the PS4 and the Xbox One. I know that Nintendo's probably pissed a lot of people off. They're just like, all right, you know what? We fucked it up with the Wii U. Here's the Wii U 2. It can do all the things that these consoles can do. We're going to get back into this fight. We're not making a Nintendo platform. We're going to make a platform. We're going to court the third parties to get their shit on our platform. And we're going to go in there and try to get that market share.
They have the capability. I just don't. Well, it just hurts my head. And like a friend of mine, he always says that I'm just trashing Nintendo, and I'm like, I'm not trashing Nintendo, because when it comes to purchasing a system for me and for actually a lot of people out there, it's what is geared towards your play style. What is geared towards, what do all of your friends have? What is this or that? I know too many people who buy systems for one game.
Yeah.
And that makes my head hurt, because I bought, and this is how intense I was about the PlayStation 2.
Right.
I bought a game for the PlayStation 2 before I even had the system. And so it was one of those things where I was like, I know I like this game. I've played this game before. I'm going to buy it. I don't have the system yet, but I know more games are going to be coming out for it. So I had, I think, 4 games before I even had the system.
That just reminds me of last year where they put all the next-gen stuff on sale before it came out. People were like, oh, we're totally going to go buy.
And so, but I'm completely with you that I want there to be a 3-way battle of just like I want there to be a console war.
Right.
I want there to be a console war, and you know me, I'm a Sony guy. Xbox, it's getting there to the point like this price drop. I was like, maybe no, because at the same time I can't justify buying, because now looking at the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One, these aren't just game systems, they're investments because they do so damn much. And so it's one of those things where I don't have any other room to put an Xbox One. So until I get a bigger house.
It's funny. I actually was thinking about, if Nintendo isn't willing to go out on the limb to do the kind of loss leader console stuff, it's not a bad business model for them to essentially make a cheap console that plays Nintendo games really well and just sell that to you. Because, I mean, at this point, you could do a lot worse. I've said this before on the podcast. Some people write in and they're like, blah, blah, blah. I think there are enough Wii U games out there that as long as you're not, okay, and I realize that a lot of people are, as long as you're not sick of Mario, there's a shit ton. Super Mario 3D World last year I thought was a really fun game. Mario Kart 8, really fun. Bayonetta was
and is
really
the
fun.
Wii U backwards compatible?
Hyrule Warriors really fun. It has the Wii. Yeah, you can launch the Wii, like virtual Wii on it or whatever.
You're set.
Yeah,
set.
it's fine. It's just that. So when I was playing Assassin's Creed Rogue, I was playing it on the Xbox 360 and I loaded it up and I was just like, oh shit, I crossed the line where now I go back and I'm just like, this is like a PlayStation 1 game. I can't fucking look at this anymore. This is gross, man.
Yeah.
Like, yuck. And the Wii U has enough processing power to get above that, but I really wish that Nintendo was playing in the same graphical fidelity game as the PS4, the Xbox One, and the PC, because the shit is, like I said, my bar has now been moved, where the minimum for what I'm going to accept is now those systems. All right, anyway, next, that was a lot to come out of just that one crappy story. Next up, people are pissed.
What? Uh-oh.
Because Elite Dangerous, which I don't know if you're familiar with Elite Dangerous.
Not.
So Elite was an old spaceship flying combat game, right?
Mm-hmm.
Elite Dangerous, I remember I was E3 this year. I was watching one of the live streams on Twitch, and it was a space combat game, and I was just like, this looks fucking great. What is this Star Citizen? Is this Star Citizen? They're like, no, this is Elite Dangerous. It's a Kickstarter game. They raised $2 million. It's actually getting ready to come out. It's coming out for the backers as of recording this a few days ago, or as of the release of this a few days ago, is recording of this tomorrow, and then next week, or the second week in December for just regular people, right? Well, part of the thing that they had announced on their Kickstarter was it was going to have a single-player campaign, but all the betas that they've been running have been multiplayer only.
Okay.
Well, they've now nixed the single-player campaign in that it's going to kind of be online. It's going to kind of be, sounds like somewhat MMO-ish, right? And
I'd be pissed too.
well, it's interesting. There's actually a second story about this where they're going to give some refunds, but the criteria is weird. It's like if you pre-ordered the game and didn't get a chance to play it, then they'll let
like
you have
didn't
a
get
refund.
the beta?
Well, if you had like access to the beta but didn't actually engage, it was weird. I didn't quite understand the ideology of why certain groups were getting it, certain groups weren't when I was reading the article.
You
But
might get your money back, but don't count on it.
right. But it brings up an interesting question, and one that I think we've talked about a few times before, but I think that it's good to keep bringing up this question. If a Kickstarter says that a game's going to have a feature and you donate to it and then the game doesn't have the feature, do you have... I mean, this just comes back down to what expectation do you have when you donate money to a Kickstarter, right? Like if you're donating for a specific thing and they change that thing midway through development, are you entitled to get your money back? Or do you look at it as you're throwing your money into the investor hole and fuck it, you might as well throw it into a campfire because you have no rights to your money once you've thrown it into this project.
I think it's a bit of both of those things. I think if, the people who are like, the $1 to $10 range.
Right.
I think
fuck them.
Yeah. I hate to say it. It's one of those things where it's just like, yeah, you're going to get a t-shirt.
Right.
Thank you for your contribution.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I personally have never done a Kickstarter, but I know many of people who have done Kickstarters, and it's one of those things where the dollar, like the $1, doesn't do shit.
Right.
The $5, maybe. The $10, maybe. But then when you start getting into like 20 and up, those are the people who are like, especially it's something like this. I know crazy games like this get they get funded. How much money did you say that they raised?
$2 million.
Yeah. $2 million.
Oh, and Star Citizen is at like 14 or 15 million, or like actually I think and the last time we talked about it, I think it was like at 22 or something crazy like that.
Yeah, and so it's one of those things where the people who have like really they're going for those investor perks or those producing perks, whether it's like film and video games, stuff like that. Those are the people who I can understand are like, hey, where's my shit?
Right.
Yeah.
It's
like, I paid you to make this technically for me.
Right. I mean, it's like it's the same. I feel like it falls under the same category of when a when a developer shows you a trailer and it's got a specific gameplay functionality to it, and then when the game comes out, they're like, "Oh, we had to cut that part," right? And you're just like, "Well, but that was why I wanted to play it."
Yeah.
Which
advertisement, homie.
in all honesty, I mean, that was one of the reasons that I wanted to play this game was because it was going to be like Privateer or Freelancer, one of those games. And I was really looking forward to just having, because I played a little bit in the beta, but it's a very technical, very it's I haven't really dug into it very much, but like it's got a lot to it. Like it's like you turn your head to the left and then you open up this menu and you request docking clearance and then you fly into the station and you find the pad that has the number and then you land on it. So I was looking forward to tooling around because I love games like that where I can go out and break the world, right? Where I can become some kind of mogul zillionaire. Like, I've been hauling rocks for 20 hours and now I own the universe.
See that planet? It's mine.
That's right. So I think that I really do think that it's interesting that it. Okay, yeah. Here's the refund methodology that they've got. Those who have pre-ordered an Elite Dangerous release version from our online store and have therefore not yet played the game are eligible for a refund. Those who have already been playing the game online in the alpha and or beta phases, regardless of whether they backed the project via Kickstarter or purchased access to alpha and or beta through the online store, are not eligible for a refund. Which is weird because it seems like the people...
all right, so if you haven't played this game...
Right.
You're going to get your money back.
Right.
Well, hey,
if you want it back.
If you've been putting hours into this game...
Yep.
You ain't getting shit.
Yep.
All right?
Yeah.
You already know how the game plays. Don't worry about it.
I know, it just seems a little weird.
But that makes no sense because the alpha and the beta were multiplayer only.
I'm pretty sure,
correct?
Yeah.
So they still need to get their money back to a certain extent. I would at least give them a percentage of the money back. But
I mean, we both know. Okay, listen.
It's not going to happen.
Listen,
it's not.
We both know the money's gone.
Yeah, it's gone.
The money's gone.
Yeah.
For 6-8 months now, they've been selling. So I didn't kickstart the game, but it has Oculus support. So I did go spend $50 to buy into the beta on their store.
Right.
And actually, when it was in alpha, it was $150 to buy into the alpha. And then when it was like, I kept going like, I want, and it was like, no. And finally, they were like, okay, $50 for the beta. I'm like, okay, well, that's a reasonable cost of a game here, $50.
How long did the beta last?
4 or 5 months.
Okay.
3 or 4 months.
Okay.
Something like that. I don't know. Anyway, it's something interesting to think about. I mean, the game itself looks interesting, and I don't know, maybe.
I mean, that's pretty.
It's very beautiful.
That's pretty.
My PC kind of chugs running it, and like I said, it does have Oculus support, and it's a game that's actually made for Oculus support because when you're sitting in your cockpit, like in order to request clearance to land, you have to either use your mouse if you're using a mouse and keyboard, or when you use Oculus, you can just turn your head to the left, and it brings up this menu, and then by looking at it, you can scroll through the menu, and then you can just hit a button, and it'll be like, request docking clearance. So I think it looks like a really interesting game. I just don't know how I feel about that whole, like...
Yeah.
It took me off guard the way that they said who's going to get refunds. I was just like, well, that doesn't make fucking sense. All right. Now we're into the bad news category.
Yes.
All right. Bad news.
I love it.
Bad news, everybody. There is not going to be, I mean, they've been consistently saying this, but Ubisoft reinforced no Blood Dragon sequel.
Oh, my God.
But what they did say, this is, okay, that's not necessarily news that we haven't already known before, but this little snippet did say something to me. This is Alex Hutchinson, Ubisoft Montreal creative director. He says, that's what was cool about Blood Dragon. It was surprising. It was a great use of the Far Cry 3 bass and had an awesome soundtrack. But no, you won't get another one of those. But hopefully we'll be able to surprise you with something just as much. So they're saying that they're probably going to be doing something like Blood Dragon.
Fire Dragon.
But, and I got to tell you, I mean, like, Blood Dragon came from, this is what I'll say. I want to see Blood Dragon 2 so bad, fucking just so bad, right? But Blood Dragon obviously came from a group of developers that were just like, let's do this crazy.
Let's fuck with some shit.
Yeah, let's fuck some shit up, right? And what they made was kind of universally beloved. So to say, you did a great job. Now do it again every year forever, motherfucker.
Yeah.
That's what we all complain about
Yeah.
with like Call of Duty and shit, like, and even Assassin's Creed in some cases, right?
Yeah.
So giving these guys the latitude, I mean, I'm going to give them one strike, right? As they're like, whatever this is, better be the shit, or else you need to make Blood Dragon 2.
It's like, okay, that's cool and everything, but about that Blood Dragon 2, though.
That's right. Because I think it's actually I think it's an incredibly good idea what they did with Blood Dragon, of like spending all this time, build this game, and then when you get done with it, you're like, well, we've got this engine and all these assets just laying around. Why don't we just make something else and put it out for $20? You know,
Okay.
There was a time when they had a Steam sale that was kept coming up that was Call of Juarez Gunslinger and Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon on the PC on Steam for like $7.50, and it was just like, wow.
See, that's making me think about. See, here's the thing. Stop laughing, Jeff.
Can we talk about Dark Souls next?
I might not become a PC gamer, but you saying all this stuff about Steam makes me look into those Steam engine things.
Oh yeah. The Steam boxes?
Yeah.
No. No.
I didn't say I was. I was just gonna look into them.
If they're way too expensive. All right. Next up, more bad news. I didn't even know that this was a thing. But they're shutting down G4 for good. I know.
I thought it already been gone.
Well, okay, it ceased original programming in 2012. The channel was rebranded as an Esquire network in 2013.
Correct.
But fell back on on airing of reruns of older series.
Correct.
After conversion plans were abandoned. So now they're putting the concrete over the grave right this time. Like,
sorry, no more Morgan Webb.
Yeah. I mean, why would anybody want to watch reruns of a video game show? It's like the shit's so topical. Well, I guess maybe
that looks ugly. That's what it would be. It's like,
just imagine sitting
that game didn't end up like that.
Watching like, hey, we've got preview coverage for Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. You're just like, dude, we've all played that already.
It's gone. It's gone.
Anyway, I don't know. Pour one out again for G4, I guess.
It was good while it lasted, man.
And that's pretty much. Yep, that's the bad news.
Okay.
Good news time. All right.
Yeah.
Number one, we got a teaser trailer finally for the Game of Thrones Telltale series.
Yeah.
And it's got some Cersei Lannister voiceover talking about
that nasty bitch.
Yep. But the thing that I like most about this particular trailer is that it doesn't look like The Walking Dead or Wolf Among Us. I mean, it's kind of hard to see in some of the characters, but I'm just not seeing the same hard black I spilled my ink on the game outlines like we saw in those previous games.
Yeah. And
I think that has there been a Game of Thrones game yet that's been any good? Because the one with the two characters that I think I played a little bit of, it was kind of
that wasn't.
Then there was like there was a strategy one that came out.
I don't even remember that one.
I think there was
I remember that one
Facebook game or something. It's one of those things where you look at it and you just go, this is ripe for a game, right? Like there's battles and medieval sorcerers and fucking and shit. Like how
a lot of that.
Like it seems odd to me that this would be the first game. This would be the first Game of Thrones game that seems to get it. But I think this looks absolutely fantastic. And I love the fact that so far
it's gonna be a whole bunch of murder.
Yep.
That's why I love the show. It's just a bunch of murder. And then when I found out that Telltale had those, I guess you could call them contracts. I don't know, but like with Borderlands, and now Game of Thrones, I was just like, oh okay.
You know what? I can tell you this right now. I'm a little burned out on Borderlands. Like I think the Borderlands games are a little long and whatever. Yeah. But they also had that trailer last week for the Borderlands, Tales from Borderlands.
That one
I think it looked really good.
Yeah.
Because it was like, okay, here's all of the humor and crazy world of Borderlands without 100 zillion hours of grinding for weapons and the world, right? Driving bad cars around, right? But yeah, I think, you know what? It just occurred to me right now. I'm sure somebody else has said it at some point, but Telltale Games making a game about a franchise that gets you attached to a character and then kills them off. It's perfect.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
Yep.
So yeah, the only thing that pisses me off about this, of course, is that Telltale is real. They're real shitty about telling you what day their game comes out. Like they just have that shit November 2014 on Steam, and then one day it'll be like, "Hey, guess what? It's out," and you're like, "What? No, I'm trying to write a schedule here." Like but yeah, we're gonna play it. All right, next up in the this is in the less serious, more completely bonkers camp. Goat Simulator. Have you seen? You've never played Goat Simulator, have you?
No.
Okay, so Goat Simulator is part of this rash of PC simulator games, and you guys can go back and watch our Indie Friday for it. I think I played it with Kayla one time, where you're a goat, you're running around. It's like Tony Hawk. You can jump, you can grab stuff, and you're trying to do tricks and stuff, and it's completely ridiculous.
What?
But this week, and we're not looking, obviously, Indie Friday is already over, but next week we'll be looking at this a little bit more in depth. Goat Simulator, the $20 garbage joke game that they put on Steam, is adding an MMO, and it looks terrifyingly complex, and like it's got a lot of just insane things happening. You get to pick what kind of goat class you are. You get to run around and make horrible shit happen.
He just made it rain and they caught on fire.
Yeah. The physics.
I mean,
like
made it rain with money, people.
It looks like they're still totally broken. There's a bunch of really just insane looking shit going on. We're watching the trailer right now.
There was a Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Yep. And it's a totally free. I mean, like I bought Goat Simulator, right? And it was like $20 when it came out. And this is just like, oh, we're just patching this in. Fuck it, whatever. So, yeah, we're going to totally get to see that.
Gosh.
In fact, if it goes really well, I don't know. Maybe we'll make it a sequential Patreon. I don't know. It depends. Because in the original Goat Simulator, it's a small area in a town. You were a goat. You can just fuck a bunch of shit up. You can run really fast and jump and like hit stuff and break stuff and a lot of the game is based on trying to get point combos of breaking stuff and running and doing stuff. And now they've taken that framework.
But as a goat.
As a goat, right.
As a goat.
So
it's like one of those like was it pain games, like you launch the person into something and it bounces off and you like break stuff or
it's kind of like if probably the best way to compare it would be kind of like Postal a little bit.
Okay.
In that they let you loose into this area where things are happening and then you just go berserk bananas and do whatever the fuck you want to. But then you could do stuff in there like summon Satan and become Satan Goat, or there's a UFO that lands at one place, and
I don't know if I'm ready for that.
You got to play Goat Simulator is the shit.
Okay.
But all right,
level up. What's going on?
Yep. It looks like it's way more in depth than the original. All right, next up when it comes to good news, I don't know. I'm going to classify this under we'll see news. But apparently GTA 5 is out, right?
Yes.
The first patch, now that GTA 5 is out on the next gen, it's out on the previous gen, the first patch is supposed to finally put online co-op heists into GTA Online.
We'll see.
I've been burned by this particular feature quite a few times.
That was actually one of the reasons why I told them they should wait for the next generation.
Yeah.
I was just like, you're trying to cram too much into a system that the power isn't there.
Yeah.
And I think it will be coming, but at the same time, I'll just wait.
Okay. I'm almost 100% certain that this shit was supposed to be in there, but that when it sold like that, when GTA 5 came out and it was the best-selling video game of all time, that they were like, okay, fuck the heists.
Yeah.
Start porting this shit to PC and PS4, because look how it sold on just 2 platforms. It was the greatest selling game of all time, and we've got a whole new generation. We can sell this shit all over again, and the PC master race is up our ass about this. fuck Heists, do this, and now that they got it
throw
out,
in first-person view.
That's right. I don't understand that.
Neither do I.
I don't really understand that personally.
It's whatever.
Because the gameplay in GTA is so like loose and floaty that it feels like a third-person game. It doesn't really feel like a first-person game, but I don't know. I played it for 10 minutes and then they threw the controller on the ground and went, no.
I can't get sucked in.
Yep. All right. And finally today on the news, I don't know if you followed this story. This is a very weird story.
Okay.
Stop me when you know what I'm talking about. So a few weeks ago, there was this indie studio that released this game called Paranautical Activity on Steam. And the release went weird and sideways and wasn't right. And the head dev went on Twitter and was like, fuck you, Gabe Newell, I'm going to come to your house, I'm going to kill you.
Whoa.
And so they were like, oh, well, your game's not on Steam anymore, bitch, because you don't threaten to kill the CEO of the company that's releasing your game. No, fuck it.
Wow.
Boom. And then that guy left the company.
Of course.
Now he's back at the company. So the first thing that I did, and I don't know, I thought that when he left the company, okay, I'm going to tell you, let's pretend for a second.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you what I think happened here for real.
Let's
okay.
Yeah.
He did this dumb shit. They took their game off Steam. This wasn't a one-man operation. There were some other people, and they're like, dude, I'm sorry, but you have to resign because we've got to get this game on Steam because otherwise we're not going to be able to sell it.
Right.
So he was like, okay, I fucked up. I'll resign. And then you can get your game on Steam. So he resigned, and they were like, hey guys, that guy resigned. He's not with us anymore. Put our game on Steam. And Steam was just like, have you seen the number of things we're releasing? We don't need your shitty game on Steam.
Man.
Go fuck off. You fucked with... You told Gabe Newell you're going to kill him. How stupid do you have to be? Go the fuck away. And that they were like, what's this guy's name? Mike. Yep, Mike Malbec. And then the rest of the guys in the company, Travis and Travis Fennig, I believe, or Fenning, was like, all right, Mike, they're not going to put it on Steam. Fuck it, just come back. Like, because there was like a statement for release. Like, okay, here's the announcement, and this is just the end cap. This is not news at all. I just think this shit is hilarious. This is the announcement that Code Avarice, the name maker of this game, put out.
Okay.
Mike couldn't commit to his decision to leave Code Avarice. Co-owner Travis publicly denounced his departure, and in the weeks following his official stepping down, Mike had second thoughts. Looking for a new source of income was extremely overwhelming, and when it finally came time to put pen to paper, Mike and Travis agreed the best thing to do would have Mike return to Code Avarice. It was like, this was like a month ago. And I'm like,
looking for another source of income?
Yeah, dude couldn't get a job.
I wonder why. He just threatened to kill somebody.
Anyway, this is not really very much. This is not really news at all. But
see, that's why I can't be in charge of anything.
It's the equivalent of
somebody threatened
gossip.
me, and I don't have people in my team to like be like, Aaron, chill out. I'd be like, I'll go straight Iron Man 3. Here's my address.
Right. Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, I mean, last time that it came up, I think when Grant and I did a podcast, it was about a month ago when it originally happened, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the only question that I had was like, was having, and I think that Valve actually did this in another story. I'd have to check about them putting out very specific guidelines about what will happen to you and ways around it, so that it's not just the sort of thing. Because the thing is that if Valve doesn't put your game on Steam, right, and you're not EA, you got Origin to back you up, right?
Yeah.
Then you're fucked.
Yeah.
You're fucked. I mean, where do you go to buy a PC game in a box? Well, nowhere.
No.
And
I even knew that.
yeah. I mean, what are you going to do? You're going to put it on I mean, I've read story after story about the people who put their game on Humble Bundle and they get like no money. They get like $2 or whatever. And so, yeah. But anyway, that's an interesting little tidbit.
I just love the studio changes policy after dev threatens to kill Gabe Newell.
Yep. Oh, they also, well, in the statement, they also said that their blogs are going to be like co-written by both of them. Like, so this other guy's obviously going to be like, dude, you quit telling people you're going to kill them. Just stop.
Mike,
Mike,
shut the fuck up.
Come on, Mike. And that's the news. There wasn't a whole hell of a lot. There's, I think right now when I look through the news, it's all just like, hey, here's how amiibos work. And I'm just like,
because even the people who are writing the news are playing too many games.
That's right.
That's what it is.
That's right.
That's all it is, man.
All right. Well, we're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we've got questions to answer.
Yeah.
So we're gonna put it on pause. Stay tuned, and we'll be right back with your questions. And we're back. Yeah. Aaron, are you ready? Are you ready to dispense wisdom and justice and your opinion about every single thing to people?
I'm ready for the foolishness that these people say to you.
It's funny. I think there's a little bit less Damocles praising this week than normal.
Okay.
But our first question comes in from Detective FDRRR. He says, "Hey, Jeff and Aaron, Detective FDRRR here." He's got this. If it was just Detective FDRR, that would be fine, or FDR, that would be fine. But it's that third R. It just makes me want to keep going. R. All right. I've been working on my first comic for a long time now, and I finally come to the grand finale. I started wondering what I should have for the end. Martial arts fights to the death, death by car, death by stealth assassination, death by WWE Super Slam, death by mace, by chainsaw, or all of the above. Then it got me thinking, what kind of death would you want to see happen in a grand finale of an action/sci-fi comic book? Always keep up the great work, and thank you for making such an awesome site, Detective FDRRR. I don't know about you, Aaron, but the only death that satisfies me at the end of a story is when the main protagonist jumps into one of 3 different colored lights and it plays a slightly altered cutscene depending on which colored light they jump into. Yeah, BioWare, eat it! No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, man.
So I'm trying to think of... first I was when I originally read this question, I was going to say well, you don't have to kill your main character, man. But it sounds like he's kind of hell bent on this.
I will say this, and this is something. Two my 2 best friends. Mm-hmm. This is a joke we have, and it's an awesome game to play if you're watching an action movie or a sci-fi movie or a fantasy movie, whatever, and a fight just happened, and the main character is left standing there, and he's looking at someone off somewhere, or just standing there in general. Mm-hmm. I am a fan of the blade through the back.
Okay.
Of just standing there, and they're just like, yeah, and then all of a sudden it's... and you're like, they're fucked. They're dead. You can't... that's pierced spine, lung, heart, sternum. You're screwed.
They're just stirring the blade around on the back.
So it's one of those things where, if you want to kill your main character off, in my brain, that would be something that usually a lot of people don't see it coming. Ha 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 ha.
Right.
Insert joke. But I say put in all of that. Mm-hmm. Maybe he dispenses people in all of those ways, and then he gets the knife in the back or the sword in the back. That's just like, oh shit, man, he just was so epic, and this simple thing took him out and makes people go, what? Then you can make a prequel.
Yeah. Oh, don't do that, man. Don't do that. Don't make a prequel. The longer I live in life, Aaron, the more I'm just like, fuck prequels. Just make a sequel.
Tell that story first.
Yeah.
How about it?
It's funny because you thinking about that. I was thinking about some of my favorite deaths in all of media are the ones that just completely blindside you, right?
Yes.
Like the one that I will always remember as an example of just me falling out of my chair was in the movie Serenity when
I gotta think back. Sorry. Just go ahead and say it.
No, it's fine. You saw it? It's been a while.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's the part in Serenity where they're flying the ship through all the other ships, and they have this really climactic thing, and then it comes down, and they have that moment of rest. You're just like, woo! And then just, bam! Wash dead. Like, he's in the middle of giving a quip, and just, boom done. And it was like, because for me, that was the moment where I was like, oh, shit. Because then the next scene when they're fighting the Reavers, right?
Everybody's falling.
And even when Mal is fighting the operative, and it's just like, I don't know who he's going to fucking kill, because by that point in the movie, you should know, by the way, that I don't care about spoilers for Serenity.
Right.
You should have seen it by now.
Yeah, if you haven't, what the hell?
But by that point in the movie, they had killed off a bunch of minor characters when the operative goes, and they killed off the preacher, the shepherd. Yeah. And so that's
the
one
black
of the
guy. Just saying. Just saying.
One of the things that I. It's one of the things that I really like about a lot of Joss Whedon stuff is that he's not afraid to off people. It's one of the reasons I like Game of Thrones is because I don't have solid ground to stand on. Like, okay, knock on particle board here, but like, I honestly believe that you might see Arya Stark get. I mean, I don't think so, but the thing is that Game of Thrones is so cavalier with that shit that you're just like, I don't know. I mean, last season there was I'm gonna spoil this for last season of Game of Thrones, but between there was okay, I'm gonna be very vague about this for people who haven't seen it, because Game of Thrones is one of those things where I feel way more protective about the spoilers for Game of Thrones because they're so dramatic. But there was the kind of mid-season episode that had a big party, and at the end of that you were just like, oh, holy shit. And there was that other episode where there was
another party.
There were some people fighting, and it was just like, oh. The only problem is that if you're ending your series, I feel like those are great tools when you're in the middle of your series. When you're ending the series, I don't think that works, because I think that's gonna put your reader, like, especially if you're lulling them into a false sense of security, and then the last thing that happens in your comic is your main character gets shot in the face out of nowhere. You're just whoa, 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 whoa.
What happened?
I'm a big fan, though, when it comes to character death in a more traditional fashion of the kind of quiet resignation.
The Man on Fire, Denzel Washington, riding in the car. Cue credits. You don't know if he dies or not.
Right,
but you know he's bleeding to death.
I do like it when things leave stuff open ended at the end. But I also like a main character who's. I mean, I don't feel like you have to have your main character jumping off of Nakatomi Plaza, fist fighting a dinosaur with the chainsaw while space aliens come in from the side and they nuke the whole site for more. But you don't have to do that.
That sounds like Saints Row.
So I say that I don't think it really matters how your character dies,
right?
As long as their death means something to the story and fits with the characterization. It's less about whether they get shoved a chainsaw through their face or a laser explosion, and it's more about how the character meets that death that is going to be more long-lasting than the individual aspects of it.
Basically, Detective FD just make sure your story's really good.
Yeah.
That's all that matters.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's what I can say is, I mean, he's talking about comics, right?
Yeah.
Best comics I ever read. Go back and read some of those old Alan Moore comics, like From Hell or Watchmen or V for Vendetta. And I'll be honest, I mean, like, the art in a lot of those is really secondary to what's going on in the narrative story. So you can have a very flashy, visually engaging end, but people are going to remember the story more than they're going to remember the imagery that you saw. Yeah. All right, our next one comes in from Joe. And, every so often, Aaron, we're called upon to dispense some relationship advice.
Word.
So here we go.
I can do it.
Joe says, all power and glory to those who spread the word of the Dong Lord like splooge on a hooker's tummy. So that's, I think, the only one. I don't know. I can't remember. Because this week I was in such a hurry pulling questions. I just started reading the questions instead of the stuff that came before.
Yeah.
I write to you today seeking relationship advice. Okay. I have a crush on my friend who I've known for nearly a decade and am very close with, but as luck would have it, she's dating someone, a douchey musician type. But recently, they have been having relationship troubles, and she has been coming to me for advice. Given my feelings for her, I'm not sure how best to handle the situation, and not like I'm selfishly trying to sabotage their relationship for my own gain. Any advice would be great. Keep on raging, Joe. So this is pretty boilerplate, right? I mean,
okay.
we've seen the situation. I think any number of us could relate to this particular situation. Right. Aaron, I'd like to get your take on it. I feel like Jason and I kind of have a roadmap for our own.
One.
Yeah.
Stop saying splooge on a hooker's tummy.
Or say it all the time.
Or say it all the time.
One or the other, man.
Depends on what she digs. If you guys got that kind of friendship, go for it. Two.
Is that wait? People out there have that friendship with their friends? Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
Two. Let their relationship run its course.
Yeah.
That's what I gotta say. If their relationship is meant to be, it's meant to be. If y'all's relationship is meant to be, it's meant to be. You already have the best part of it because you have the friendship.
Yeah,
that's the way I look at it. You've known her for, you said, over a decade.
Yep.
Yeah, man. Yeah, because here's the thing that you need to think about, and this is like what horrible rom-coms are based off of. And I'm not saying that what your real life situation is horrible. I'm just saying rom-coms are pretty fucking horrible.
Yeah.
Is the fact that you have this friendship. What's not to say that you trying to start a relationship with her will be the worst fucking thing in the world.
Sure.
And so then you have these two things. I can keep this friendship that is amazing, according to you, that has been going on for a decade and can continue till however many douchey boyfriends or husbands or flings she has, or you could fuck the whole thing up and neither of you ever want to see each other again.
Yeah, I mean, okay,
that's
Joe,
the way I put things, Joe.
Well,
sorry.
Joe, I'll be real harsh here with you for a second, and I apologize, but you should probably give this idea up right now.
Yeah.
I'll be real straight with you. If you've known this person for 10 years and you guys haven't had any kind of romantic contact already, it's probably not going to happen.
Leave it alone.
Because, I mean, unless in her mind, I can't tell what's going on in her mind, but I've been this guy in a variety of different situations, and I've known this guy in a variety of different situations, and I will tell you this right now. You made an excellent point, Aaron. Romantic movies will tell you that this shit will work. In real life, this shit does not work. It doesn't work.
It doesn't.
In fact, what I would recommend to you more than anything, Joe, and this is the Jason Murphy advice. It's like a channel, just the Murphy power. Go date somebody else. Go find some other woman and date her and see, because a lot of times I feel like if you're not already in a relationship, that you just want to date somebody, and that part of your brain is now sublimating this person that you're already very intimate with and goes, well, that would be perfect. I already know them, right?
Yeah.
In all honesty, though, it's an entirely different type of relationship that you have with somebody that you're dating as opposed to somebody who's your friend. So I would say go date some other people, and that will also give you the perspective. And I'm not going to say that it couldn't happen, but if it does happen, I almost feel like the last thing that you want to do is be trying for that sort of thing to happen. Yeah. So if you can be dating somebody else and put it out of your mind.
And it's not even trying, it's working towards it.
Right.
And when you start putting in that much effort.
Right.
That's
because no matter what you do, the hard, honest truth here is that the odds are not in your favor. They are stacked against you right now. So
you are not going to be a representative of your district.
That's right.
Sorry.
So if you want to play that long shot, that's your prerogative. But the place that's probably going to cause you more pain than anything else is not realizing that what you're doing is a 1 out of 100 chance, right?
Yeah.
That you are more than likely going to fail, and that you also have the potential in there of messing up friendship,
right?
I mean, I've known some women. There've been some women that I've done the same thing with, and then we're still really good friends. But there's some women that I've done this with, and then it's just like, well,
bye.
We're all done, right? Because
so clock out.
Yeah. So I would say, I mean, as is always the relationship advice that we tend to give people, go date somebody else. Go on some dates with some other people. And
even in an alternate universe, and this is going to be really crazy what I'm about to say, you could date somebody else. She could be still dating Douchey McDoucherson. Y'all all could hook up. Who knows? Everybody could get drunk, have a party. I'm throwing that out there. So that's a win-win.
You know. That's some weird advice.
Yeah, I'm just saying, it's an alternate universe.
All right, so what you need to do is it's a 10-year plan, right? Encourage her to get married. You get married to somebody, but then keep planting the seeds of swinger culture with her, and then eventually one day
have dinners, get-togethers,
and then one day
play
you
Scrabble.
guys all sleep together, and then you realize you're actually into her douchey husband way more than you were ever into her.
Whoa, Joe.
You're gonna divorce your wife. You're gonna get married to that guy. It's gonna be great. No.
That's the other universe.
That's the other alternate universe.
Welcome to the Sliders podcast.
But yeah, Joe, just
keep the friendship, man.
It's hard to hear, but just try to realize that once again, and I feel like this doesn't get said enough, and it's fucked up my life in a lot of different ways, and a lot of people whose lives have been fucked up in a lot of different ways. Okay, every romantic situation you've seen on television in a movie is a lie. That's not how it happens.
It's a twist.
Right. So you can watch that, but like that, pick a romantic comedy. Okay, there's only one romantic comedy there's only a few that I really like, but one of the ones that is my absolute favorite is Grosse Point Blank, right? Okay. Grosse Point Blank is a fun movie, and it's wonderful. If you were actually a hitman and you came back to your high school sweetheart, she'd be like, you're a fucking psycho killer. Get the fuck away from me,
the
right?
cops have been called.
Right. Yeah, that shit makes for a great story, but it's not what happens in real life. So try to put this out of your mind. Go date somebody else. Or if you're going to pursue this, make sure that you like really, really realize that this is almost 100% not going to work out in your favor. So there you go.
Yeah.
All right. This next one comes in from Bert Cocaine.
All right.
Bert Cocaine says, ding dong, homies.
What
Long-time listener, first-time emailer.
Word.
My question is about purchasing a PS4 over an Xbone. I am a user casual gamer. I'm just going to say I am a casual gamer.
Okay.
And when I say casual, I only purchase titles with Batman in them or the yearly Drek of the WWE games. Already owning a Wii U and slowly regretting it, I was wondering if it matters which console I should get next. Eventually, I will own both of them as I do currently with a PS3 and 360, but you needed those followers of Don Cleese to help me out. Wait, what? But you needed those followers of Don Cleese to help me out. Okay. Thanks from fan Bert Cocaine. So, do you want to? Are you gonna?
I got the harsh news for Bert.
What's that?
Don't get either one of them.
Really?
If you're a casual gamer and you only play something that has Batman or don't get a next gen system. There truly is no. Truthfully, for Bert himself, there truly is no point for him to get a next gen system right now.
I don't know. I mean, it's been
based off of what he's saying.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it depends on how, if you only buy 2 games a year, that does seem a little bit
and
odd,
I'm sure he doesn't, but it's that because he's asking this a casual gamer question to 2 of the most not casual gamer people in the state of the universe.
I measure my personal worth based on how many trophies and achievements I have.
And so because I like. Friends have asked me, what system should I get, especially with the holidays coming up and everything. And I have a friend who has the Xbox 360, and he's trying to convince his roommates to get an Xbox One.
Mm-hmm.
But they're all, it doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay, well, one of his things is like, but the Halo Master Chief Collection, I was just like, that's technically one game.
Sure.
Doesn't make sense. And then I have another friend. She has a PlayStation 2. or whatever. What was the last system that Kingdom Hearts came on?
You friends with a person who owns a PlayStation
Hey, man,
2?
she's not a hardcore gamer. She's not a hardcore gamer.
Well, she's not even a casual gamer, man.
I'm trying to.
Was she unfrozen from a block of ice that she got frozen in 1997 in, or
She's
what?
an actress. But it's one of those things where I was just like, okay, well, there's all of these holiday deals going on. PlayStation 4 is giving you the GTA 5 and the Destiny things. If you're really looking into getting in, those are two completely opposite games.
Mm-hmm.
One you can get completely immersed in and lose your damn mind.
Yeah.
The other one you can just have a character in and just lightly go at it. You don't really have to worry about competition unless you do the multiplayer. And so it's one of those things where I say that, but then they ask me the questions, okay, what all comes with it? I go, for Xbox One, I couldn't tell you.
Mm-hmm.
But for the PlayStation 4, I could tell you get this, you get this, you get this. I can run that. I could be a spokesperson for PlayStation 4.
Sure.
And then my friend who has the Xbox One, he's like, oh, well, he has that 360 thinking about getting the Xbox One. He's like, oh, shit. Xbox doesn't do that. And I'm like, well, I'm just saying you could get this. But in a situation like this, if someone came up to me and they're just like, I don't really play that many games. Like I do have a friend who literally only plays the Batman games.
Uh-huh.
And I think I talked to you about this before when the trailer was released, and you're saying it's time released. It's not like console specific. The new Batman Arkham.
No, it comes out same day for both.
Right.
Right, yeah.
I think at one point only PlayStation 4 was doing the commercials for it. So
I feel like almost all the time that one of the developers will get their shit first at the end of the commercial.
Yeah. And so he was thinking, oh, man, this is only going to be on PlayStation 4. I have to get a PlayStation 4 now.
Mm-hmm.
Having a 360, he's like, but I'm used to this, I'm used to that, I'm used to that. And I was just like, no, it's okay. You can get an Xbox One because the Batman games. He's like, awesome. And I'm like, you're stupid.
It's in all honesty, what it really comes down to and we've said this multiple times. Okay, so there's been plenty of articles out there that talk about how the Xbox One, the hardware in the Xbox One is slightly slower than the PS4.
Right.
So if you're like a super fidelity freak, right, the PS4 is slightly better.
Right.
I think that in the long run, that shit's all going to get worked out. 2 years from now, it's not going to be a thing, right? But what it really comes down to is just the exclusives for each console. Because this holiday season, you're going to be able to get deals on both of them, and it really doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter, except for the exclusives, right? Are you into Halo? Do you want to play Master Chief Collection? I mean, when we did that video for it, Master Chief Collection is a hell of a deal.
It is an amazing deal.
4 games that have all look great. There's reasons that they're classic games.
You get Blur.
Right. They're reasons it's classic games, and then when you get done playing 4 full single-player campaigns, there's all the multiplayer.
All of them.
Like we were talking earlier about buying a console for one game. If you were going to buy a console for one game,
that would be the game.
That would be a pretty good way, right?
Because you'd be set.
Yeah, because you got a hell of a lot of value in that one thing. On the other hand, I feel like the PlayStation 4 started out strong with the lower price, but that like we were saying with the thing, right? The gap's closing between the two of them. But you look at like Uncharted, right? Uncharted 4 is going to be on the PlayStation 4. Bloodborne, yes, obviously. I wasn't going to bring it up.
Sorry.
No. That's me, right? So you just look at what's out, and right now, I mean, the Xbox One is slightly better as far as exclusives go because you've got Dead Rising 3, Sunset Overdrive, Killer Instinct. There's a bunch of stuff that's only on the Xbox One. On the other hand, the PS4 I feel like is still a little bit stronger with the free games you get on PlayStation Plus.
Yes,
that they've been a little stronger with giving. I mean, the games with gold is good, and they're definitely catching up, right? But that the PlayStation Plus, they just seem to have more experience with it.
Plus, Mr. Cocaine has a PlayStation 3, he said, and so if he is a PlayStation Plus member, that's technically 4 free games a month.
Yep. So I don't know.
So-
I mean, I think that at this point, it's mostly just. It really comes down to. It comes down to kind of what it did in the late PS3 360 era, and I'm glad that we've gotten this this fast. Look at the exclusives and what do most of your friends play on. And if you play multiplayer games, do most of your friends are they planning on PS4? Or are they planning on Xbox One?
He doesn't.
He doesn't.
I'm just saying he doesn't.
Well, who knows? Who knows? But yeah, actually, at this point, the difference is marginal.
Yeah.
It comes down to weird shit like which controller do you like better?
Flip a coin.
Right.
Yeah, flip a coin.
Or, you know what? If you could find some kind of doorbuster Black Friday deal where they've got Xbox Ones on sale for $300, go get one, right?
Yeah.
Go wait in line and get one, right?
I'm gonna get one. If
Yeah.
that's the freaking situation.
No, dude, you gotta. You got martial arts training. You could totally. Yeah, it'll be fine.
I am not going outside during Black Friday.
Do you? Okay, so here's the thing. This is a loose tangent here, Aaron. Have you seen any of these things where they have where Black Friday is now oozing into Thanksgiving to the point where retailers are making people come to works and they're not able to have Thanksgiving with their family?
Yep.
That's dick. That's garbage, man.
That's super dick.
That's like, I mean, you know, there's.
That's almost like quitting standards.
I think
if not like, I'll say this: quitting is the lowest thing on that list for me. Because if I was still working retail and someone was like, "Hey, man, you got to work Black Friday, but it's going to go into Thanksgiving," I'd be like, "I quit."
Right.
And then if they're like, no, you need, I'll be like, ask me again, and you're gonna have to call the police. That's what I would say.
You know what I wonder is that the Walmart employees, right, are supposed to be striking on Black Friday.
Yeah.
I think that this is going to be really bad this year because the crazy deal people and the crazy Walmart employees striking are going to be in the parking lot at the same time.
I'm just letting you know. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. And I started saying this a long time ago.
Yeah.
Take every Walmart in the continental United States.
Mm-hmm.
That's where the zombie apocalypse is going to start. That's where the outbreak happens. Now, you put them on a map.
How would you know the difference?
You put them on a map.
Right.
You put them on a map. It's going to be a wide spread across the U.S. We're fucked, and this might be the year. I'm just saying, sit back.
Oh, God.
Enjoy the ride.
What was it? The Division, right? Where doesn't the Division start on a Black Friday where it's like something on the money that then spreads? But okay,
As soon as I saw that press conference, I was just like, somebody's been listening to me.
I almost feel like taking like it would be. Like the only thing that might be no, I don't even want to give people the publicity for that. I'm gonna say you could take like some roving teams of people out and just live stream like with a telephoto lens from the other side of the parking lot.
Seriously, man.
Because God,
And you get the one guy with the GoPro. Go in there, buddy. See what's happening.
right? Oh, he's dead.
Yeah,
they ate him.
He's dead. He's
All right.
dead.
This is our next one comes in from our friend B Hammer 100. This is this is a longer one. So. All right. Hello, Jeff and Aaron. I think it's a shame that there are people out there in the world that have not yet heard of the almighty Dongacles. But the great Dongacles is happy that he has prophets like you that are willing to spread his white sticky knowledge to everyone. And when the dong is happy, all of us are happy. Okay. Call of Duty and Assassin's Creed recently added another entry into their ever-expanding universe. I'll admit that I haven't been interested in Call of Duty for a few years now. I think the last COD game I bought was Black Ops 1, but I do have a cousin who buys every single Call of Duty game that comes out and gets really good at it really quickly. I've only played one Assassin's Creed game, Assassin's Creed 3. Oh, I'm so sorry, B Hammer.
Yeah.
And while it was okay, it kind of put me off the series. B Hammer, seriously, go back and play 2, right?
Yeah.
On the PC or I don't know. So on to my question. Do you guys think that yearly releases are a good thing? Or is it just an excuse for greedy developers to get more money? Should game developers just take some time to improve their games instead of slapping a new coat of paint on the last game and release the same old shit every year? Speaking of Call of Duty, do you think the series will ever go back to World War II? Do you think a World War II online multiplayer mode would work? Long live the butt sniper, and may he never come across his arch enemy, Brian Brushwood, the man with the bulletproof butthole.
What?
They're just writing shit now. I don't even know what they're saying. B Hammer 100. All right, so.
I'm sorry.
Yep. Yearly releases, yearly iterations on a franchise.
To answer that first question, it's yes to both. I think they're good, but I also think it's the studios and the companies know, especially if they have a cash cow, that they can keep churning them out, especially in the Call of Duty situation. But what will stop that is when shit gets bad, when it gets bad. And unfortunately, I think it's happening now with Assassin's Creed. I think they've finally got to that point to where, because of Unity and the microtransactions and how there are so many broken moments in that game, it's gonna make Ubisoft go, time out. Maybe we need to focus on this a little bit longer.
Yeah,
that's not saying that they won't still have a yearly release, because they have so many teams working under their belt.
Sure.
I can't really say for Call of Duty. I know for a fact they will probably never go back to World War II. Or any of those. If they do, it's gonna be some ridiculous, weird time
travel.
Yeah, time travel thing. But I think now, especially with Advanced Warfare, they're finding new ways to create chaos and conflict, and so they're gonna try to continue to do that, unless they're gonna put what was the Call of Duty that had the character you were was like a family member of one of the past characters. I can't remember which one it was.
Well, I know
it happens in L.A. It was like one of the most recent ones. I can't.
Oh, was it Ghost?
I don't think it was Ghost. It was the one before Ghost? It was the one because Ghost
Black
was
Ops 2.
Yeah.
Black Ops 2.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. They had all the flashback stuff, right? Yeah.
And so I think they're going to find they're going to find ways to piece it together and like maybe be like, "Oh, my great grandfather."
Right. I personally, after there was a time, if you'd come to me with this question a few years ago, where I'd have been like, hell yeah, yearly iterative franchise is great. I'm on the other side of that. I don't think you should. I think that you should, that the shortest amount of time that you should have between a game and its sequel should be 2 years, because the thing is that I think it's okay. Wait. I think it kind of depends. All right, because with Assassin's Creed, right, you had 2, and then you had the sequels to 2,
right,
that all iterated and made that game system better. And that's what I liked about 2. The same way that I didn't really like 3, but I actually really liked Black Flag because they went in and they did that stuff, right? Call of Duty, very hit and miss, because it's now 3 different studios making it. And that's good, because that means each studio has 3 years to put together a game.
Right.
But for the most part, I even think about it just from a perspective of like, if they've been putting out a Batman game every year, there's something to be said about when GTA 5 came out last year. I was like, eat my own face excited, because it's been like 4 or 5 years, right, since the GTA 4 came out.
Yeah.
So I was like, hell yes, I am ready to play a GTA game. I am. It's like, I feel like the other thing that's good about it is that it lets you forget, so you can get your excitement levels back up. It also gives other franchises time. I mean, like, we're right in the middle of this whole crazy game apocalypse. This week, 5 games as it came out. You had Dragon Age, you had Far Cry 4, you had Little Big Planet 3, GTA 5, and WWE 2K15 for the next-gen consoles, right, all came out, as well as a few other assorted titles. Last week, we had 2 Assassin's Creed games, as well as the Master Chief Collection, stuff like that. And I feel like a lot of this density is because the week that Advanced Warfare came out, nobody else wanted to. Nothing else was really out, right?
Yeah, nobody wanted to contest it.
Right. Like, in the middle of all of this, the week that Advanced Warfare came out, the second video that we put out was for Korra, which had come out before that, because that week was a wasteland outside of Advanced Warfare, because it's so big that nobody else wants to fuck with it.
They're smart. The developers are smart.
You know what I felt like would have been really fun, though, is if Master Chief Collection came out that same week. Have just been like, oh, Call of Duty, you're bad and stuff,
up?
right?
What's up? How you doing?
But no, I feel like there's I feel like it's a good thing to to space these games out a little bit, just to mean that it's like, just to give yourself a chance to reset, right?
Yeah.
And I feel that there's both Activision and EA, and to a certain extent Ubisoft, have been kind of bad recently about just grinding franchises and releases. I really respect Dragon Age, because Dragon Age 3 was announced 3-4 years ago, 3 years ago, something like that. And that it seemed like they really took their time to make sure that this was, because Dragon Age 2 felt like it had been pushed out really quickly with the environment, with the garbage in the environments, right? That terrible one city. Whereas this one, I mean, I played for 6 hours in one environment. I haven't even gone to, there's like a bunch of more. I haven't even gone to any of them yet. So I think that you should take a little time. And I think it's good for movies, too. I don't like when movies come out. Every year there's, going to be blah, 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 blah.
That's where, and to go on that, The Hangover, that series, it was one every year, and they were like, well, you're just recycling the material. Mm-hmm. They recycled it because it worked. It was still funny, but they were just trying to find new ways and new locations to have even crazier things happen.
Right.
And by part 3, it was just like, yeah, it's a funny movie, but I'm tired of it.
Yeah.
And so I was actually going to say it should be like a movie, because most of the time, if it is a series of movies, the least amount of time you want to put in between it is 2 years. The least amount of time.
Yeah.
Because that's when, especially like you look at Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
The last Marvel movie that came out was Captain America: Winter Soldier.
Guardians.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Guardians of the Galaxy.
How could you forget Guardians?
I apologize. Guardians of the Galaxy. Next one that comes out isn't until fucking summer.
Oh, really?
2015.
I sit around.
Yeah. It's like they're Marvel Studios. They have the time limit, especially like with the huge releases that they've just announced.
Yeah.
It's like 2016, 2018,
right?
2019 for this one, but that's because it's going to be a little something different. We're trying,
right?
This one doesn't come out till 2021. Good job, guys. It's like, okay,
yeah.
and people aren't going like, what, a Marvel movie every year or every other? No, they're going, I have to wait for that long.
Well, it's the sort of thing where if there was a brand new awesome Marvel movie every month, 3 months or whatever, you wouldn't have time. Like you have to. This is a thing that I feel a lot of times gets lost when we talk about certain types of things, especially in video games, is that the waiting and getting excited for a thing to come out makes it that much better when it comes out.
Yes.
Right? As opposed to just being like, and here's another one, and here's another one, and here's another one.
Right.
It's like this current release schedule that we're in where it's kind of like, right? There's so many good things coming out that I have to skip good things where I would have rather seen, like, God damn, I wish somebody would come up to me with would give me the release calendar for this year, because I would have released a bunch of this shit during the summertime.
Yes.
I would have put a month between these things so that we were able to, like, play this game, love this game, get into this game, instead of just being like, here's another one's good, here's another one's good, here's another one's good, and it's just like,
yeah.
It's like you hear them talk about it with the summer blockbuster stuff, right?
Yes.
Where by the end of the summer, you may have a good movie, but everybody's just like, I'm tired.
I'm sorry, I missed it.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm tired of this kind of stuff.
Because last summer it was like Iron Man 3. Well, I'm thinking of a particular summer. I was like watching Iron Man 3, Pain and Gain, like all these other movies. I was like, oh, calm down.
Yeah.
Calm down.
Well, wasn't that
please.
one of the things that some people had said with Pacific Rim, that people were tired at that point?
Yeah.
Of all the
it was like an amazing movie,
movies.
but it was just like, shit, man.
Yeah.
Another one.
All right. This next one is a little bit more focused on me, Aaron.
Go for it.
I don't know.
Knock it out.
There's a podcast talked about on the show last week. I don't know what podcast you listen to in your spare time, but there's a podcast called Serial. Have you heard about it?
I eat it.
Okay.
I just don't. Yeah.
All right.
Sorry.
It's about this case of this guy that was convicted of murder in 15, 16 years ago, and this investigative reporter who's out there who there's a bunch of people who think he's innocent, right? He's
Mm-hmm.
always protested his innocence, and the case that was made against him was a little bit shaky, et cetera, et cetera. So every week they come out with a new one. I think it's really compelling, but this person's asking about it. And I've been listening to this is the thing I don't do. I've been listening to the episodes over and over again.
Oh, wow.
To really absorb the information. So it says, "Hey, Jeff, I consider myself a podcast addict. I listen to everything from This American Life to the much more classy Rage Select podcast. I heard you promoting cereal on a previous podcast. I was curious to get someone's take on it who didn't grow up in a Maryland suburb like I did. I have friends who went to Woodlawn High School in '99. They have a totally different take on the murder than the one being told on the podcast. I was curious what you thought about J. Adnan and the whole week-to-week style of the podcast. Keep on raging, Adam." So, I over the last year, Aaron, I've been like readjusting my whole brain about different things. So I don't know is the answer, Adam, because the person that's doing this podcast, they kind of alternate between poking holes in the Adnan is the guy who was convicted of it,
right,
in his story and his friend's story. It definitely seems like there's something weird going on in this in the what had happened here, but the problem here is that you're like the way the trial and the investigation went is the investigators, they weren't like, they were trying to convict somebody, right? And they found enough to put together a case against this one guy. And so now, like 16 years later, they're going back and asking people, like, so in the January of this, do you remember seeing a person in high school? And they're just like, no, man, I don't know shit about what you're talking about. I don't know. I think that it's an interesting podcast. I think everybody should listen to it. I'd be interested to know what other people think. I actually am really interested to know what he's implying as somebody who was probably closer to this when it was happening. I definitely have a healthy disrespect for parts. No, that's not true. I have a healthy disrespect for authority and law enforcement in general.
Yeah.
And I think that they make an interesting point in a few of the podcasts where they say that, like, if you're the investigator on a murder case, right, your job is to find the person who did this and convict them.
Correct.
So if somebody presents you with information that may fuck your whole shit up, your job is to convict them. And so police and prosecutors and this sort of thing, they aren't like monks, right? They're not like the truth above all, right? Their job is to get convictions, is to take people that they think are doing bad shit off the streets.
Right.
It definitely seems a little bit fishy. The problem is that in one episode they talk about, like, when you have a case of somebody who's been unjustly imprisoned, the best way to reverse that conviction is you present clear-cut evidence of, no, here's what actually happened. Here's the actual person who did this that you need to put in jail.
Right.
Like, I don't know if you've ever followed the West Memphis 3. Do you know about that?
I know this, yeah.
Where they actually, I mean, there's a lot of evidence that people have brought out that says like it was fucking this guy, right? So I definitely think there's something fishy going on there. But what I'm really trying hard not to do as I listen to it, it's the reason I listen to it over and over again, is to fictionalize it in my head. So what I'm really trying to do is make sure that I don't take this information and essentially write a Christopher Nolan movie in my head.
Right.
Because we want to do that, right? We want to make stuff that doesn't make sense into a story that has a good guy and a bad guy and etc. And it's one of those, what's the God, what is that movie where the guy says it's just a bunch of guys. There are no good guys or bad guys, right?
Yeah.
So
what movie was that?
I don't know. I can't remember. But yeah, in listening to it, I think that it's really interesting to listen to, and I think that everybody should go listen to it because. But they present it in a way. They keep flip-flopping the side they're presenting it from.
Okay.
So, okay, I gotta know now. I gotta know what movie it's from. Good guys. Zero Effect. Damn. It's funny because I watched that movie on HBO Go and I was like, I keep forgetting about this movie. Those of you out there who have never seen the Zero Effect with Ben Stiller and Bill Pullman, and I don't even know the lady who's in there, but she's really interesting.
I actually I was actually just going to watch it again the other day.
Yeah.
But I didn't have time. I was like, you know what?
It's a really good movie. It's a really good movie. Yeah. All right. Next one comes in from Ben, and Ben says, Dear Rage Select, a longtime listener from back in the Spill days. I now listen to Rage Select podcast every week. With Black Friday coming up, I have seen a deal that offers 2 free games of the PS4. I would like to know what 2 games you would recommend the most. Thanks for giving us such a great podcast every week, from Ben Dixon. I picked this one specifically for you. Because he's like, I'm going to go buy PlayStation 4 games. Which one should I buy?
Good for you, Ben.
Yeah.
Like I said, the deal that I saw was GTA 5 and Destiny.
Mm-hmm.
To me, that's like...
Does that deal let you pick from a list of games?
I don't know. I'd like to know if it's a list of games that are available right now. Me personally, if I did not have a PlayStation 4 and playing all the games that I've already played, because I research a lot of the games I play before I even play them, which some people would say is really stupid. I was like, no, that's really smart because I don't want to waste my time. I would get Shadows of Mordor and Destiny.
Is this, let's see, PlayStation 4, DualShock 4, 2, well, no, this is just some garbage Walmart bundle. Okay,
No.
I'm just going to go, I can't find whether it's a specific set, but I'm sorry, you said Shadow of Mordor.
Shadow of Mordor and Destiny.
And Destiny. Let's see. Depends. It kind of depends to me on what you're looking for, right?
And a PS Plus membership.
And PS Plus membership. I think that if you have not played Grand Theft Auto 5,
Get Grand
Theft Auto 5 because that's a huge game with a huge multiplayer component. It's going to last you for a long time.
Yeah.
I'm going to throw. It depends on what you're looking for as far as games go, but Wolfenstein: The New Order, hell of a fantastic game.
Yeah.
Shadow of Mordor, hell of a fantastic game. Both of those though are very much kind of like 14 hours and then you're done sort of games. For games with more longevity, I doubt they'd put Dragon Age Inquisition on the list, but that looks like a huge,
just get that one
huge game, right? If you're looking for longer games, I actually have this giant stack over here that I could just take a look at.
Yeah.
Let's see, Far Cry, Dragon Age. You know, I think that Destiny is. I mean, it depends. Like, you can go back and you can read. It depends on what your focus is, right? That's one of those games. If you're going to be wanting to play a multiplayer game for a long period of time, that's good. You could do a lot worse if you haven't got it on a lot of the other consoles than Diablo 3.
Yeah. That's
a hell of a game with a lot of longevity.
Avoid Murdered Soul Suspect.
Yeah. And then also when it comes to the redo stuff, you've got if you haven't played any of these, there's a reason that they're releasing them. You've got
Last of Us.
The Metro
Redux,
2 games from Metro,
Sleeping Dogs
remastered, and there was one more that I was thinking about, but I can't remember it right now. Nope, can't remember it. Yeah, I think that those are all good choices. You know, if you could probably pick it up for a song right now, but if you never played Black Flag, or even if you did play it, but you haven't played it since last year, Black Flag on the PS4 is really impressive.
Really good.
Find that boat around with all the steam and the waves and all that stuff. Sea shanties.
I'm gonna go home and play it. It's so good.
Yeah, I don't think
you get to hunt ocelots, or what the hell is that animal? You get to shoot turtles.
You get to hunt all kinds of shit in that game.
Sharks and whales.
Yep. Yeah. Oh,
Good luck when you get to a whale. Good luck. For real.
You get to collect the sea shanties.
Yeah,
that's really the best
part.
So I'm trying to think if there's anything that I've forgotten, but I think that's a good list. I don't say nope. I'm going to say, Far Cry 4 also is absolutely fantastic. I mean, I would probably not. Sometimes I wonder about who actually listens to our podcast. Every time I open my mouth, we're just destroying ourselves. But if you're a fan of Assassin's Creed, I wouldn't start with Unity on the PS4. I'd probably play Black Flag on the PS4 before I play Unity.
If you're going to get an Assassin's Creed game for the PS4, get black flagged.
You know what? I'm actually going to do one thing that I like to do a lot. This is something that I recommend whenever people are like, what should I do? Go to Metacritic, go to the platform that you're looking for, and sort by score. Let's see. No. We already mentioned. Okay. Well, yeah. That's the last 90 days. Let's see if I can get everything. No, you know what? That's a good enough list. Good enough list.
Yeah.
All right. This next one comes in from G Jax 2020. Says, Dear Jeff and Aaron, I have been a fan of yours since the old days, and I'm liking all the content you put out each week. Thank you. Yesterday I was reading an article entitled The Art of Conversation, How to Avoid Conversational Narcissism, in which the writer explains the issues regarding the decline of proper social interactions, as well as offering tips on how to properly have a conversation without focusing too much on oneself and showing respect to the other person. In the times in which we live, do you think we as a culture will ever reignite the flame of a good dialogue? If so, what would be your view on this pressing matter? Thanks for reading this question, and all hail Doggercles from GJax 2020. Aaron, how do you feel about the art of modern conversation?
I mean, I'm an actor.
Yeah.
So it all depends on the situation. Modern conversation, it all depends what group of circles you're running in. I can have a conversation with a group of people that only talks about the movies that they've seen, and they want to know what movies you've seen. So it's like that starts the dialogue. I can have a conversation with people to where I say nothing about myself.
Yeah. Because
I just continually ask them questions because I don't want to talk about myself. And so me and society don't mesh too well. So it's one of those things where
you're like humanity, whatever.
I'm not all doom and gloom, but I've said it before. We just landed on a comet.
Yeah,
I'm ready to join them.
Right.
I'm ready to colonize the moon.
Well,
we got to start with a comet. I'm ready to go.
I'll tell you this right now. We landed on a comet, and the news story was that dude was wearing a shirt with some ladies on it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry. Did you forget the part where that guy got a thing?
He could moving comet.
Yep.
Your shirt, sir. If he was naked.
Kim Kardashian's ass. That's
give me a break.
Who cares?
World?
Yeah.
Earth? Planet Earth. Chill the fuck out. Seriously. I'm soapbox.
Yeah.
I'm tired of the feminist conversation. I'm tired of the chauvinist conversation. I'm tired of the violence. I'm tired of it all. And I'm just like, everybody, just chill out. There are a lot of amazing things happening. You just need to look at them. Landed on a comet.
Well, okay. I could say in regards to this guy's question, I feel like, okay, so in the groups of people that I hang out with, I don't necessarily feel it's easy to spot a person who doesn't listen to what you're saying and is just waiting for a chance to talk.
Correct.
And I don't tend to hang out with those people.
Correct.
Because you're just like, I'm not interested in listening to you self-promote all the time.
Yes.
So I don't know if this is more of a problem because I don't hang out with that many young people. Well, I don't hang out with many people who are under, say, 25-ish, right? Just because, it's because I'm 36, and that's kind of creepy to be like, oh, my friends are 21.
Hey.
I'll be young forever. I'm Peter Pan. No. But generally speaking, when you run into a person like that, those people have existed for a long time, and I don't know if there's becoming more of them. But the thing that I feel is more detrimental is, since we're in soapbox mode for a minute here, is that people something that I've thought about for a long time is that there seems to be much less conversation happening. And
yes.
the thing about having a conversation about a topic is that you have to be willing to at least consider the possibility that the other person may be right and that you may be wrong. And it's not about the whole thing. I'm not saying that if somebody makes a good enough argument, you should throw your identity away, right?
Real.
But like, compromise, you know?
Oh, above all, the one component that goes with what you're saying is listening.
Mm-hmm.
You listen, because above all, whether whoever's right or wrong, you're both going to teach each other something. You just have to listen to each other, because I know in a situation, most of the friends I hang out with, I know way more about video games and movies.
Right.
One, because that is my life.
Yeah.
I'm an actor, and when I'm not acting, I play video games.
Right.
That's what I do.
Yeah.
I've also been training martial arts for more than half of my life.
So when I'm like, hey, Aaron, I'm going to tell you something about jump kicking people.
I'm going to listen to you. I'm going to listen to you. And if you say something that has the incorrect technique,
right.
I'm going to be like, actually, I think what you mean.
Right.
I'm not going to be like, no, this is how it is. I'm like, I think what you mean is this. And then if you're like, no. I mean, I'm going to be like, okay, this guy's full of shit.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to let you talk. That's my thing. I let people talk. You're going to dig yourself in a hole. I'm going to enjoy it. Yeah. And so, but it's one of those things where it's like, you just gotta listen. And so, like, in regards to what my man, who's this? Eugene? Jax? G-Jax? Yeah. Mortal Kombat. That's what I'm saying. You gotta, where I can't say where the state of every person's dialogue is gonna go. It's just that if, in order for us to go somewhere, we have to be willing to just listen. And like Jeff was saying, that other person, you don't make yourself smaller because you think this person is the end all be all. It's just like, we're all human.
Right.
We're all human. Now, okay, if I'm talking to an astrophysicist, I'm sure as hell not going to say anything about astrophysics because, one, I barely can say the damn word. So it's one of those things where it's like, I know this person is smarter than me on an intellectual level, but I know I'm smarter than them in other places. I'm not going to impose that on them.
Right. I'm
going to be like, oh, that's cool. I'm probably going to be like, yo, teach me how to make a rocket.
Well, there's also another component to this that I feel a lot of times that we get a little bit hung up on, and that's the fact that, like, if you're judging conversation based on online interactions, I keep kind of forgetting this, right? But, like, there's been a zillion studies that show that so much of our communication with another person is body language, facial expression, tone of voice, right? All that stuff is gone when you're just reading a block of text. And I feel like there's a lot of stuff where if you don't like what the person is saying, the voice in your head that you're reading it in is, just sounds terrible.
Who is that person?
Right. I mean, I've had people send me messages online where I get upset, and then I have to step back and go, like, look, just read that in Sterling Archer's voice, right? You're just like, oh, okay, well, he's a whatever, right? So, yeah, I think it's really important. In all honesty, I think that I hope that someday soon, probably not with this next generation, but I don't know, maybe with the generation after that rebels against their Instagramming parents or whatever, that we put a little bit more emphasis back on having face-to-face conversations. Yeah. Not even like, well, I pine for the old days when you used to see, but saying, like, look, man, scientifically, you're not getting 70 to 90% of what this person's saying because you can't see if they're smiling, if they're frowning, if they're tired, if they're sitting upright, if they're slouched over, what their tone of voice is, right? So
what's funny is you say that about typing. I'm going to say 100% of my friends and most of the people I text or I type to know exactly how I feel and how I say things, because I make it a point, unless it's like a professional situation,
right?
I type the exact same way I talk,
right?
And so,
plus, I mean, if there are people who know you,
exactly,
that's the other thing that's really important. It's like I've never met. I mean, G-Jax. I've never met G-Jax before. I think it's great that he's listened to us, and I can totally read his question and make some assumptions about him. But if you know somebody face to face, and then you're texting with them, like you're going to have a whole different idea of them than if the only way you know them is by reading text that they've written.
Right.
I don't know.
Or you could just Snapchat, whatever. Get that video. You got 10 seconds. Go.
I still don't know if I still wonder. I kind of want to read the article. I'm not going to look up the article he was talking about, but I wonder if it's a thing. I wonder if it's a problem, and I wonder if it's a thing that's become a problem, or if it's always been that way. And just now that we have so many outlets for people to say things online, that we're now seeing that problem more clearly, and so it's perceived, even though it was always there. Like if you were to go time machine back and talk to a huge number of people, you'd find that 75 to 80% of them were just total narcissists,
right?
And that it's always been that way, but just now we're seeing more of it.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right, soapbox down. Let's see. We're kind of getting to the end here. I tell you what. I'm going to go ahead and skip that last one, and this is going to be our last question. Our last question comes in from Eugene. Eugene says, "Hey, Jeff and Aaron. Eugene here, longtime Patreon supporter, thank you, and listener, watcher since the Spill days. May the loading bar rest in peace. My question is, with the holiday season rapidly approaching, what is the best gift you have ever gotten? And conversely, what is the best gift you've ever given? Love the site with all the changes recently, and I hope you continue to do it. It's a regular part of my life, and even though we haven't met, I feel like we are friends. Jeff, or any of the crew, if you're ever in Seattle, please let me know. Jeff versus beer will be on me. Kindest regards, Eugene." Thank you, Eugene. That was a very sweet email.
I'm going to go to Bruce Lee's gravesite, so if you could point me in that direction, yeah, that'd be amazing.
Just meet me there with a 12-pack.
Of Dr. Pepper.
Oh, yes, that's right. That's right. That's right. All right, so that's a good
Aaron versus root beer.
Aaron versus root beer.
Be a lot of belching going on.
I feel like we have this whole like it's Grant versus Gabe and Jeff versus beer. And it's like Aaron versus actual ninjas that are trying to kill him because
so I'm playing this game right. Hang on.
Let's see. Best gift you've ever given. Best gift you've ever received. Good questions. I remember one year I had when I was like 18 or 19 or something like that. This is back in the middle in the 90s. This is like 97, 98 or whatever. I was working at Dell. I had this great job. I was getting paid way too much money. Lived in a housing in Austin didn't cost body parts at that point.
Correct.
So
they do. Trust, they do.
I had a lot of money. And so I went and bought all my friends very expensive gifts for Christmas. Like I bought people, like I bought one of my friends this really nice jacket, and I bought one of my friends this really nice tobacco pipe, water pipe. And I spent a long time thinking, and then my budget for Christmas shopping was incredible. In fact, that tobacco pipe was this is a real killer, man, because it was glow in the dark, and we used it in the dark, but you couldn't see what was inside. Okay. Anyway, yeah, best gift you've ever given. I think that's probably about it. I think a lot about. I mean, I usually just give my family gifts, but I usually think quite a bit about them.
What's funny is my family never asks for gifts.
Yeah,
because I'm the one that lives out of town.
Mm-hmm.
The gift that they want is me to just show up.
Yeah,
and so
that's so rad.
I try.
Yeah,
I try because I'm not always like this. I'm not going home for Thanksgiving, and so it's like, ooh,
right.
I was gonna. And plus, I'm like, I'm not gonna give my grandmother's food.
Right.
Like she's an amazing. I wish the world there would be world peace if everyone ate some of my grandmother's chicken. I guarantee you.
Okay.
It would make a vegetarian just go find a chicken, kill it, and give it to my grandmother.
There's a line of vegetarians. Yeah. Each one of them holds some chicken.
Like, where's she at? Where's Mrs. Alexander at? But yeah. So I guess that's the best gift I've ever given. I gave my girlfriend a really, really nice necklace.
Yeah.
Because in my adult years, I've started to save up on my money.
Oh, there you go.
And so it's one of those things where I was like, hey, I can actually get this. There you go. Best gift I ever was given, hands down. Well, there's two.
Mm-hmm.
And this is going to show you where my brain is at. One is my car. My dad gave me a new car. It was the first major gift he's ever given me, ever.
Mm-hmm.
It was my car, and 2 was my PS Vita that my girlfriend gave me.
There you go. Nice.
And so I cried. I actually cried when she gave it to me because it was just
For a Vita?
Come
on, man.
Well, the last time I had a handheld system was when the first PSP came out.
Uh-huh.
And also at the same time, in all my past relationships, no one's ever given me shit except shit.
Right.
So it was one of those things like, this girl actually
you're paying
loves
attention.
me. She actually loves me. And she's feeding this. What's going on here? So it was one of those things where she knew, she researched it. She talked to all my best friends scheming behind my back.
Nice.
And yeah, it was like I got online and I called each and every one of them an asshole because I was just like, I was like, I'm gonna get me a Vita for Christmas, and they're like, man, you don't need to get a Vita. You already got the PlayStation 4. Don't worry about it.
Right.
Da, 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 da. There aren't that many games for it. I'm like, man, you guys know me. You're right. There aren't that many games for it. I'm like, but it's got this remote play though. They're like, dude, you don't need it. You're gonna waste your money. I'm like, all right. Come Christmas Day, here you go. I'm like, what is this? And she was like, it's a Vita. I'm like, what? And she was like, yeah, all your boys helped me. And I was just like, oh, y'all some assholes. And
Well,
they're
no,
like,
but think
got
about
you.
like think about that perspective from your friend's perspective. Is that they're all just like frantically chatting with each other, like, dude, you have to get in here and help me convince him not to buy a Vita. He's about to buy a Vita. He's about to buy a Vita right now.
Well, I had them all in the same chat.
Right.
So I was just like, hey, yeah. And so I'm sure they all had their own separate chat going on, like, DEFCON 5.
Tell him
DEFCN 5.
Tell him he gives cancer or something. I don't know.
He's got the card in his hand.
That's right. He's about to hit buy on Amazon.
I got the exact Vita that she got me the exact Vita that I was going to get with The Walking Dead season 1. I was like, this is the one I want. And I was just like, what? And so, but yeah. And so
that's great.
She loves me.
That's awesome.
I love her. I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to get her this year.
Yeah. So when I was a kid, my mom and dad, they would really do Christmas.
Right.
We're talking like, and I think that it comes from when I don't know if this was it, but like, it was like every year they were trying to outdo the previous year. And it was one of those things where you go up to bed and the Christmas tree's got a couple presents underneath you. You come downstairs and like it's just like a 2-foot Christmas wall getting back to the
fort
tree
has been raised.
Yeah. And I gotta say that that was exactly what my sister and I really wanted, and that we were always like, I cannot think of a bad Christmas, right? Because it was always just like, yeah. But I do remember very specifically the year that I got the Super Nintendo, and it was great because it was some fucking a Christmas Story shit where my parents wrapped it, but they put it all the way at the end. So it was like at the end of the day after we did it,
everything.
I got all these toys and stuff, and I'm just like, oh, this is great. No. Okay, no. I remember what it was. What happened was that they put it in the back, and then they had all these presents coming out, and I was opening these presents. It's like, this toy's great. This toy's great. This toy's great. And then I opened up one, and it was a Super Nintendo game, and I was like, it was like I looked at it, and then like the gears in my head, and then it goes ding, and I was like, where is it? Where is it? Like get it out of the back, and be like, oh yeah, victory. Yep.
Yeah.
And that was absolutely fantastic. But yeah, that was probably one because I got my Nintendo on my birthday. I got my NES for my 10th birthday.
My brother got the NES because I was too young.
Yeah,
but I played it more than him because I was all about that duck hunt and track meet. And
track and field too.
Yeah, track and field. And then I got the Genesis, and then I got the Sega Saturn. And then I was the one. He got the N64, and I was jealous of the N64.
Oh yeah,
and so I was like always in his room playing it. And then I had the Sega Saturn because it had all the fighting games on it. I was just like, yeah. And then I for some reason wanted a Dreamcast.
Yeah.
It lasted. It lasted for a while.
That's one of those ones that I always wish that I had. I never had a Dreamcast. I kind of skipped that generation of stuff. Went directly to PlayStation 1.
I'm just you didn't miss anything.
Oh, well, I tell you, I wanted to play. We'll go back to the very beginning of this podcast and buying a system for one game. I wanted to play Shenmue real bad.
Okay.
Really
you
bad.
Miss that. And I think
and Choo Choo Rocket.
What was it? I think it was just a couple of years ago that they say that Shenmue 2 isn't coming out. I don't know because they
already put 2 out right on the 360.
2 is out, yes,
right, but they weren't finishing.
Yeah,
or it's one of those properties. It's just like where the guy, I don't even remember his name. The guy who's made him, he's just like, well, I don't know. If somebody gives me a giant dump truck full of money, I'll do it. But
my friend is heartbroken because that was his game series.
Yeah,
he was just like, Shenmue, I gotta go home and play Shenmue. I was like, God damn.
I've never played it.
You got football practice, dude.
Never played it. Well, you know what? That's the end of our show.
Yeah, man.
All right, folks, if you have questions, email them into mail@rageselect.com. That's mail@rageselect.com. Aaron, if any of our listeners are in Austin, do you want to give them the skinny on your performance?
Yeah. Sherlock Holmes in the Case of the Jersey Lily. It is running November 21st through December 21st.
Okay.
Thursday through Sunday. Well, I'll say this. Thursday through Saturday, curtain goes up at 8, so get to the theater about 7:30, 7:45. Make a reservation. It's at Austin Playhouse.
Okay.
So you can go to the website. You can find them on Facebook, austinplayhouse.com. I think their email is like austinplayhouse@gmail.com. Anyway,
Come on, Austin Playhouse.
Yeah, Austin Playhouse.
Go get a real email address.
If you're in Austin, the location I'm about to give you, you're going to be like, what?
Yeah.
It's in Highland Mall. It's actually inside Highland Mall.
They finished the redevelopment of Highland Mall.
They haven't finished it.
Oh.
It's in the process.
Okay.
Just Austin Playhouse was one of the first companies to take advantage of the empty stores. And so they bought the Foot Locker space that's under the Champs Sporting Goods and turned it into a 164-seated theater.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, come on. You can't fit 164 seats in a Foot Locker. I've been in a Foot Locker. They're tiny stores.
No, this Foot Locker was huge.
Oh, okay. All right.
Well, it's the Foot Lockers where the main thing is, but they bought like the whole like bottom rest of the corner. It's really awesome. It's
cool.
really awesome. And
right.
But yeah, I don't know exact ticket prices. I think it's like no less than $20 and no more than 30.
Okay.
And so it's a legit theater. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 8:00. Sundays, I do believe at 5. It's a early matinee, not so much a matinee. Got to get those old folks and church people to bed for Monday. So, come check it out. It's fun. Good British mystery comedy.
Do you do a British accent the entire time?
I do a British accent the entire time.
All right.
Yes.
Well, folks, that's it. Aaron, break a leg, kick Sherlock Holmes in the face,
I
and
wish.
Just take that shit over. Take the whole play over.
I wish.